I just received 2 German Glashutte engine room clocks. This one is a rare 24-hour clock. It's been refinished and is working at the moment. The second one is a 12-hour clock. Cast aluminum case, 3 original blind mounting holes. There's a service tag on it from 2017. This 4th hole is an added through hole someone drilled. It's open to the inside of the case. Aluminum casting has some impurities in it. It shows up as pits. Original finish is in good shape with several chips in it. Very good for its age. It's missing the latch assembly. This hole is where the key would have been put to operate the latch. Dial is in fair shape. Up close you can see scratches from the winding key. The finish on the hands is in serviceable but rough shape. The second hand is not original and has some adhesive blobbed on it. Someone has written a message or name on the front of it here, along with some scribbles. Second hand is extremely tight, too tight to pull off with my fingers. Just as I thought, it was glued on. Brass center mount looks to be superglued to the hand. I'll deal with this later. The end where the minute hand mounts is bent from someone using pliers to remove the hand nut. Always best to use a socket or wrench on these to prevent this from happening. Oh, our hand just fell loose from its brass bushing mount. The dial is made from a red plastic. There's some oil here. Here's the other side. Someone left a drop of oil and it spread to the back of the dial. Paint in here is in excellent shape. Someone has removed the complete latch assembly, including the bushing that went here. The black protective oxidized finish has scratches in it. Looks like someone was trying to remove some rust. These scratches here look like some type of abrasive pad was used on it. More scratches here in an attempt to remove rust. This spacer has oil on it. This one too. The whole movement has an oil film on it. Someone sprayed some type of penetrating oil on this movement. sprayed right over all the dirt. It'll need to be hand cleaned. I'll need to reattach the hour hand. The minute hand cannon is stuck on the hour hand cannon. It's loose until I attempt to slide it out. This hour hand bushing is seized on the hour hand cannon. Looks like someone attempted to tighten the hour hand with a punch while it was on the movement, and ended up deforming the hour hand cannon. Bearing surface looks undamaged. Now the hour hand bushing needs to come off. Going to need some type of tool for this. I'll grip the enlarged flange and hope it comes off. It's a little egg-shaped. Someone painted the inside of the bushing, and the paint got gummy and stuck. The hand can be reattached. The brass will need to be dressed where these tool marks are for it to fit right. Dial washer, a spring-loaded split minute wheel. To get this E-clip off, a little bit of wear, but not that bad. Lots of areas of corrosion on the brass. Doesn't look like the spray lubricant stopped it. This movement has a lacquered finish on it, and these corrosion spots are where the clear lacquer has been damaged. broken spring washer, this steel pillar post has some rust on it. Remove the platform escapement. It's completely coated with oil. This dirt ring here, the way it's running down is signs of spray lubricant being used. Dried oil film and surface rust. Oil on the pinions collect dirt. Not a good sign. Geneva stop mechanism. The penetrating oil has separated from the mainspring lube. What a mess. It's going to need hand cleaning. Well, it cleaned up quite nicely. The black oxidized areas were deep and show up as a copper color now instead of black. Time to fix the tension spring for the regulator arm. When the old spring lost its tension, it allowed it to spin on the brass plate, and it's left a damaged scratch. Replacement springs aren't available, so I'll fabricate one. I'll use this high-quality feeler gauge stock. This feeler gauge is from about 1903. It's made out of spring steel. Just what is needed for this type of tension spring. The hole needs to fit fairly loose. Not looking for an identical match, but something functional. This is going to work out just fine. It just needs to create some friction on the regulator arm. We'll keep the old original one with the clock. This will help someone in the future to know what the original one looked like if they need it. Time to put it together. I've removed all the paint from the inside of the hour hand bushing. It slides nice and smooth on the hour wheel cannon now. Time to remount the hour hand. To roll the brass over on the hour hand, the heavy brass shoulder is going to need to be supported. There's still plenty of brass material left to curl over the hand. I'll need to find a staking tool or stump large enough to back up this flange. This one fits it perfect. The radius of this steel ball bearing fits the brass perfect. It'll give a nice, smooth curl over. Hand is nice and snug now. And the bushing glides nicely on the hour wheel cannon. Time to disassemble the platform escapement. This banking pin is real tight, probably from the sticky residue left from the spray lubricant. Far too much oil on this. It's also going to need some hand cleaning. This needle will help align the mounting holes. Looking good so far. Rotate the banking pin back into place. It looks like it might be a nice running movement. Now to deal with this super glued seconds hand. Owner wants to reuse the hand, so I'll fabricate a new brass center mount. The center brass bushing is being held in with super glue only. It should separate easily. That didn't take much. Now to fabricate a center mount. It's going to be a split mounting type. I've modified an X-Acto blade into a cutter. It shaves the brass nice and clean. It'll make the two cuts quite quickly. I'll use the same modified X-Acto blade as a parting tool to cut the part free. Finish the hole. Fit the hand to the mount. Just enough brass to curl over the hand. The two relief cuts will allow the mount to have a friction fit on the center arbor. Fits nice and snug. Hand has been straightened and refinished, and it's ready to mount. Looks great. New locking mechanisms are not available for these clocks, so we'll need to fabricate one. First, get the case measurements. Then design the mechanism to fit the case. Back here there needs to be a bushing made for the winding shaft. This is the front bearing that rides in the case. This is the relief slot that the keeper will fit into. This end will fit into the brass bushing. This is the square that will lock onto the locking lever. Time to machine the part. This is where the square will be for the key. The end that'll fit into the bushing, relief cut for the locking clip, time to cut the key square. I'll use the index plate on the lathe to lock it at 90 degrees. Now to cut the brass bushing that will mount inside the case. Fits just fine. The brass bushing will press into this hole. I'll use some epoxy to secure it and make a nice moisture seal. All looks good. Time to install the bushing. Now to fabricate the locking latch piece. Use this piece of cardboard as a pattern. I'll use this clay to determine where the door latch pin needs to be. Transfer the center point of the pin to the case. Tough to see, but the mark is right here. It's taking shape. Get the thickness of the stock needed. This flat bar steel is slightly thicker and will work perfect. I'll use this jeweler saw to cut the tight curves. Drill a hole slightly smaller than the square. Works nicely. Movement sure looks better. A nice running GUB clock.